Exponents, Part 9. This is the end of a saga. In today's lesson, students will review how to multiply and divide exponents with coefficients. How to do what? Multiply and divide exponents with coefficients. That's right. So today we're going to multiply and divide exponents again, but this time they have coefficients. They have what? Coefficients. And the coefficients are going to be the numbers that you see next to x. So read this with me. When multiplying and dividing exponents, first you have to multiply the coefficients. Multiply. And when you multiply exponents, you have to add, right? You're going to add the exponents. Okay? Then you're going to, what do you think? You're going to divide the coefficients. And when you divide exponents, you have to subtract. Okay, so go ahead and get that down. All right, so how many words do you see here? How many words do we fill in? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are actually 4 steps to this process. 1, 2, 3, 4. So put those numbers at the top of those words. And next I'm going to show you how to do all 4 steps using a chart. So when you multiply and divide exponents with coefficients, there are actually 4 steps. How many steps? 4. The first one is going to be multiply coefficients. Do what? Step number 1 is multiply coefficients. What are coefficients? The coefficient is the number. The coefficient is the what? Is the number. Now step 2 is add the exponents. Now this all happens at the top. Where does it happen? Happens at the top. Then for steps 3 and 4, you go to the bottom. Step 3 is going to be to divide the coefficients. To do what? Divide the coefficients. And then, of course, you want to subtract exponents. You want to do what? You want to subtract the exponents. So I always show you 5 different examples. Okay? I show you an example where the exponents at the top are going to be more than the bottom. Okay? Now let's take a look at the exponents at the bottom. Is there something that might be missing next to the x? It's the invisible 1. That's right. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to make it really, really simple. But you have to do this for me. You know the coefficient is a number. The coefficient is what? It's a number. So I want you to underline the coefficients at the top. So this is 4x squared times 3x cubed divided by 6x to the power of 1. So I want you to underline the 4 and the 3. Can you do that for me? 4 and 3. So now what you're going to do is you're going to do step 1, which says multiply the coefficients. Okay? And then step 2 would be add the exponents. So let's put this little addition sign here. We're going to add the little numbers, but we're going to multiply the big numbers. So let's multiply the big numbers first. What is 4 times 3? 4 times 3 is 12. That's right. Okay. So we have 12 at the top. We're just working with the top now. Okay. Now when you look at the top, you have x squared plus x cubed. So you have 2 plus 3. What's 2 plus 3? 2 plus 3 is 5. Very good. Now we changed the top into 12x to the 5th power, and we're going to keep the bottom. We're going to do what? Keep the bottom, which is 6x to the 1st power. Okay, so now what I would like you to do is look at this next box. It says divide the coefficients and then subtract the exponents. So now what I want you to do is I want you to make a box around the coefficients. Make a box, around the exponents. Make a box around the exponents. Okay. Now we've separated the coefficients and exponents, haven't we? Separate. So first you're going to divide the coefficients. The coefficients are the numbers. They are not in the box. So what is 12 divided by 6? How many times does 6 go into 12? 2 times. That's right. Then you're going to rewrite the exponents in the box, which is x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 1. So we did step 3, but now we have to subtract these exponents. So x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 1. When you divide exponents, you have to subtract. So you're going to say this is the same as x to the power of 5 minus 1, which is what? X to the power of 4. So remember, you're going to keep this coefficient, and the answer will be 2x to the power of 4. Did you have to move it down? Is this a positive exponent? Yes. So you do not have to move it anywhere. Okay. So let's take a look at example 2. Example 2 says 2x to the power of 1 times 4x to the power of 3 divided by 2x to the power of 6. Okay, so if we follow the rules, step 1 says you have to multiply the coefficients. So let's underline the top coefficients, which is 2 and 4. Then we're going to add the exponents. So first we ask ourselves, what is 2 times 4? 2 times 4 is, what is it, Miss Dieter? 2 times 4? 8. Good job. Okay, so it's 8. Then we're going to put a division line. And then the second step is we're going to add the exponents. So we add the little numbers, which is 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So you get x to the power of 4. Now we change the top by multiplying, right? We multiplied the exponents by adding and multiplied the coefficients, but the bottom stays the same. So that stays the same, okay? 2x to the power of 6. All right, so now you have to make a box around the exponents because we're dividing exponents now. But when you divide exponents with coefficients, you actually have to divide the coefficients first. So what is 8 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 is 4. And you're going to keep this the same. You're going to rewrite what's in the box. It's x to the power of 4 divided by x to the power of 6. But now you're going to subtract the exponents. What do you do when you divide exponents? You subtract. So it's x to the power of 4 minus 6. Okay, 4 take away 6. That's a positive 4 and a negative 6. Okay, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, so you get x to the power of negative 2. Okay, but you have a negative and up, bring it down. So you're going to have to bring this down. But what coefficient is going to stay at the top? The 4, right? The 4 will be at the top, and then at the bottom, you're going to bring down x squared. Okay, so make sure you get that written down. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, now notice, the first example, you have the top exponent is bigger than the bottom. In the second example, the top exponent is smaller than the bottom, okay? Now in the next example, we're going to have negative exponents. So we're going to try this. We're going to try 5x. And I'm going to make my exponents that are negative, I'll make them red, okay? To the power of negative 4 times 4x to the power of 1 divided by 5x to the power of 7. Okay. So, who knows what you need to do first? You need to do what? You need to multiply coefficients. Do what? Multiply coefficients. So, underline the coefficients that you're going to multiply. That's going to be a 5 and a 4. What's 5 times 4? 5 times 4 is 20. Okay. Divided by, now let's go ahead and add the exponents. Okay, add the exponents. So you have a negative 4 and you have a positive 1. Negative 4 and positive 1. Different signs subtract, right? Keep the sign of the higher number. So what is negative 4 plus 1? Negative 4 plus 1? Okay, it's negative 3. That's right. So you get x to the power of negative 3 And then you have still, we're going to keep the bottom the same. That's 5x to the power of 7. All right. So, let me rewrite this. So now I want you to put a box around your exponents. Put a box around the exponents. And we're going to go ahead and divide exponents now. First, we have to divide the coefficients. So what's 20 divided by 5? How many times does 5 go into 20? Okay, good. It's 4. And then at the top, you have x to the power of negative 3 and x to the power of 7. So when you subtract, you have a negative 3 minus 7. Negative 3 minus 7. So that is same signs. Even though it's telling you to subtract, you're really adding negatives. So same signs add and keep. 7 and 3 make what? Negative 10. Okay, negative and up, bring it down. So you are going to bring it down. What's the coefficient that's going to stay at the top? You're going to keep 4 at the top. So you're going to say that the answer is 4 divided by x to the power of positive 10. Okay, go ahead and get that down. Okay, we're going to do another example with a negative exponent. So this time it's going to be 6 x to the power of 5 times 2x to the power of negative 2 divided by 4x to the power of 8. Okay, so here the negative, you see here? Here the negative is on the left, and here the negative is on the right. So when this happens, really all you're doing is subtracting, okay? It's a regular subtraction problem, 5 minus 2. But first you have to multiply the exponent, multiply the coefficients. So underline 6 and 2. What is 6 times 2? 6 times 2 is 12. And then let's go ahead and, like I said, when you're adding these exponents, it's really a subtraction problem. It's really saying 5 minus 2. So what's 5 minus 2? 5 minus 2 is 3. And then we're going to keep the bottom the same, which is 4x to the power of 8. Now notice that the bottom exponent is bigger. When the bottom exponent is bigger, your exponent's going to be negative. Repeat what I said. When the bottom exponent is bigger, your exponent will be negative. Put a box around that, and let's see if we're right. So now we're going to divide. Okay, step 3 is divide the coefficients. What's 12 divided by 4? 12 divided by 4 is 3. We're going to rewrite what's in the box, x cubed over x to the power of 8. And then we're going to subtract. We're going to say, this is really x to the power of 3 minus 8. What does 3 take away 8? Remember, you're taking away a bigger number. So different signs subtract. It's x to the power of negative what? Negative 5. Negative and up, move it down. But what's the coefficient that's going to stay on top this time? It's going to be a 3. So this will be 3 divided by, if you bring that down, it's x to the power of positive 5. All right. We'll do one more, and this one you're going to have to use the reciprocal. So I put the little arrow. This is going to be 3x to the power of negative 4 times 9x to the power of negative 2 divided by 3x to the power of negative 3. So go ahead and get that down. Okay. Okay. So here we're going to underline the coefficients. What are the coefficients here? The coefficients are what? 3 and 9. 3 times 9 is 27. Good. And what are we going to do to the exponents? Second step is add the exponents. So we're adding negatives. We have a negative 4 and a negative 2. So same signs add and keep. It's going to be x to the power of negative what? Negative 6. That's right. Divided by 3 x to the power of negative 3. Okay. What are we going to do around the exponents? We're going to make a box. Okay. Then we're going to divide the coefficients. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and rewrite x to the power of negative 6 and x to the power of negative 3. Let's subtract. If you have a negative 6 and a negative 3, what does that make? Same signs, add and keep, right? X to the power of negative what? 6 plus 3 is 9. Negative and up, bring it down. What's the coefficient that stays on top? It's a 9. So the answer is 9 divided by x to the power of positive 9. Okay, so go ahead and get that down.